one day somebody does something unspeakable to someone else, to someone you hardly knew, and you do something about it because you can.
This story is brought to us from the Salt Lake Tribune. Some 10,000 demonstrators marched against President Donald Trump in downtown Salt Lake City, Utah. The vast majority of them were peaceful. This was on Saturday, this past. Then 3 gunshots at the end of that mile-long march sent thousands scattering.
Cell phone video capturing that chaotic scene yesterday at 8 p.m. local time.
One innocent bystander, 39-year-old Arthur Folasa Alu, never made it home, said Salt Lake City Police Chief Brian Redd at a news conference last Sunday. Another man, 24-year-old Arturo Gamboa, was later jailed on suspicion of murder. Chief Redd said investigators believe Alu was killed by a man who was apparently part of the demonstration's peacekeeping team. He hit Alu as he fired 3 shots at Gamboa, who Redd said was running into the crowd of protesters just before 8 p.m. with a drawn rifle. Officers found Gamboa minutes after the shooting, crouching in a group of people near 100 South and 200 East, and arrested him. He was treated at a hospital for minor gunshot wound before he was booked into jail. While police say Gamboa didn't fire a shot, an officer wrote in a probable cause statement that the 24-year-old was knowingly engaged in conduct that created a grave risk of death to another individual and thereby caused the death of that individual, Alu. Police initially detained the alleged shooter and another man, both men wearing the neon high visibility vests commonly worn by protest safety organizers who'd confronted Gamboa, though neither were arrested and both were let go. How about that? Redd said they are cooperating with the police investigation. There's still a lot of questions to be answered, and we will continue to update you as we learn more and the investigation progresses, said Chief Redd. He went on, what we do know is that this incident unfolded very quickly. It was chaotic, but it was resolved very quickly thanks to the police and civilians. Alu, who is also known as Afa Alu, was a well-known fashion designer and was once a contestant on Project Runway. He was a self-taught designer who grew up in Samoa, according to previous Tribune reporting. He served a mission with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Salt Lake City, Utah, and moved back to Utah when he got married after attending Brigham Young University in Hawaii. He and his wife have 2 children, according to a GoFundMe that the family and friends set up on Sunday. Organizers who planned Saturday's protest did not respond to the Salt Lake Tribune's request for comment. In a statement posted to Instagram last Saturday, No Kings protest organizers with Utah 5501 called Alu an innocent, peaceful protester who came out to make his voice heard as he stood up for our rights when our country needed him most. The local group is part of the Grassroots 5501 coalition, which plans protests against the Trump administration, like Saturday's, aiming for at least 50 protesters in all 50 states in one day. The statement from Utah 5501 added that organizers are grateful to the Salt Lake City first responders and our safety team at the event for their quick response to the shooting, for apprehending the suspect before he could injure more people, and for safety. Eunuch Epstein Ortiz, a national spokesperson for the No Kings Coalition, said in a statement, "They were devastated, and our hearts are with the family, the friends, and the community of those impacted. We unequivocally condemn any act of violence," said Epstein Ortiz. "This movement is rooted in nonviolence, dignity, and justice, and we grieve any loss of life or injury," she said. Now, leading into the evening, Red said officers prepared extensively. They were very prepared for the large protest and were even more prepared on Saturday night. He said police did not have any reason to suspect violence or threats at the demonstration and called the protest otherwise very peaceful. Yeah, except for the homicide. This, Chief Red said, came out of nowhere. About 2 hours before shots rang out, thousands gathered at Pioneer Park for Utah's capital city iteration of the nationwide No Kings protests planned in opposition to Trump, his immigration enforcement, and the use of military force against protests in Los Angeles, as well as the military parade in Washington, D.C., to celebrate the U.S. Army's 250th birthday, which coincided with Trump's 79th birthday. One of the demonstration's first speakers, Britt Miller, president of Teamsters Local 222, told the crowd packed shoulder to shoulder atop the park's green grass that nonviolence is critical. And then, quote, "We are here to protest back and raise our voice against mass deportation and efforts to quiet protesters by this authoritarian regime," said Jiro Johnson, assistant director for Salt Lake County's public defender office. "We must stand with those families," he added. Democrats chose Jiro Johnson last week to fill a Salt Lake County council seat formerly held by Arlen Bradshaw. Passing cars honked and a cowbell clanged. "We need more cowbell." Amid the applause, as speakers addressed the crowd. Around 7 p.m., marchers exited the park, walking east along 400 South, chanting, "No ICE, no KKK, no fascist USA," and carried a collection of signs, depictions of Trump as a dunce on a green military tank or his disembodied head on a wooden stake, or scrawled messages like "Rejecting kings since 1776" or "Fascism is bad." Others waved flags, both Mexico and the United States, including an upside-down Star-Spangled Banner meant to symbolize extreme distress. At 7:56 p.m., Chief Red said a police officer heard shots near 151 South State Street, and first responders soon found Alu on the ground. Medics quickly surrounded him, offering aid, but he succumbed to his injuries. "Our preliminary investigation shows that our victim was not the intended target," said Chief Red, "but rather an innocent bystander participating in the demonstration." Less than 24 hours after the protest ended, Red stood behind a podium at downtown public safety building, about a mile from the shooting, and told Utahns that what happened was sudden and alarming and not representative of our values here in Salt Lake City or in our state. "Our teams acted with courage and professionalism," said Chief Red, "and responded very quickly in the middle of chaos." While police haven't released any information outlining Gamboa's possible intentions on Saturday, documents and statements elucidate, is that it, the timeline and the shooter's motivations. As the march progressed from the park, the two men apparently on the event's peacekeeping team told officers they saw Gamboa move away from the main crowd to a secluded area behind a wall, according to a probable cause statement. They thought this was suspicious and watched him, eventually seeing Gamboa pull an assault-style rifle from his backpack. They called out for Gamboa to drop his rifle as they pulled their own handguns to open carry state. Then officers wrote, "Gamboa lifted the rifle into firing position and ran into the crowd." One member of the peacekeeping team fired 3 times, killing Alu and striking Gamboa, excuse me, causing minor injuries. Minutes after the shooting, Red said officers arrested Gamboa crouching among other protesters. Video of the arrest posted to social media shows protesters in that area kneeling as demonstrator Sam Hernandez says, "This is a rifle right here," and picks up a black backpack and moves it away from Gamboa. He said, "I just grabbed this from the guy." Hernandez yells as officers approach with their guns drawn, "He's right there." Police move towards Gamboa, shouting, "Get on the ground." Gamboa, who was kneeling with his hands raised, lowered onto his stomach, and he was handcuffed. Now, officers later recovered the backpack, a rifle, and a gas mask. Gamboa did not fire his weapon, said Chief Red, and neither did the police officers. A review of court records shows Gamboa had 2 speeding tickets in 2023, but otherwise has never been charged with a crime in Utah. And it goes down from there. He has not been formally charged as of Sunday afternoon, and as he's being held in jail without bail. Chief Red said detectives are working closely with the district attorney's office to ensure a thorough review of all the facts. He offered his condolences to the family of the man killed and all others impacted. I'm going to stop it there. This police chief offers his condolences to the family. You have my heartfelt condolence. Yeah, that's why the guy that actually fired those shots has not been arrested. But they're working with they're cooperating. Okay. But you arrested the guy who never fired a shot, but the guy who shot Alu, well, he's cooperating. And by the way, you have my condolences to the family of Alu. Yeah, if you want to give your condolences, go arrest the guy who shot him. Huh? Common sense, man. I don't know. I'm wondering if that demonstrator guy or the protester that fired those 3 shots, was he an off-duty cop who was just with the protesters? I don't know. Probably not, but he hasn't been arrested. He's the one that did it.